He's faced really, really good receivers throughout his career, and he locks them up.
All right, gentlemen, it's about to get saucy in here. Ahmad Sauce Gardner, cornerback, University of Cincinnati, 86.67 consensus grade. This is our top 10, number 10 overall prospect for the 2022 NFL Draft. There's a lot to like. Joe, you've been watching this Bearcats program for quite some time. Talk to us about Sauce Gardner's level of play this year, what the expectation was before the season, and just how high the ceiling is at the next level for Sauce Gardner.
It's interesting that this dude grew up in the Midwest and all the Big Ten schools overlooked him in the recruiting process. He goes to Cincinnati, starter as a true freshman, and locks it down for multiple seasons and just got better year after year where, you knew he was a really good college corner right off the bat, but then you saw him develop into a really good NFL prospect, a premier guy, a guy that we see as a top 10 caliber cornerback. And so he met the moment, right? And we talked about this with all the Cincinnati guys, Desmond Ridder and Jerome Ford. They were challenged, right? He's faced really, really good receivers throughout his career, and he locks them up. He's a really good football player. Length is there, physicality is there. He's got ball skills. I like his zone ability in terms of pattern recognition and coming off landmarks, cueing the football, working in the throwing lanes. To me, the big question with him is, we know he's a really good athlete, but sometimes there's a little bit of grabbiness with Mr. Sauce Gardner where guys want to get in and out of breaks. He reverts to kind of tugging and pulling, and that's something to be mindful of. But I think this is a guy that's in conversation to be one of the first corners off the board, obviously, and had a great career at Cincinnati.
He's a long, athletic, physical corner. He doesn't mind tackling. He will literally two-hand punch through stock blocks with receivers. I think my main issue with him is his footwork in the contact window. I do have some concerns there against more twitchier NFL type of receivers and him transitioning with him being a taller, longer corner. We talked about that with Kyrie Elam. I would say the twitchiest guy he faced was Calvin Austin. And Calvin got into him. Yeah. Calvin moved him, made him open the gate when he didn't want to. Yeah. He was not comfortable guarding Calvin, which is then a size discrepancy. He's 6'2", 6'3". Calvin's 5'7". So it's definitely a different size thing there. But again, for me, that's really my biggest issue with him is just how does he handle when guys are able to maneuver and move his hips in a way that he doesn't want to. We talk about Richard Sherman. That was the issue Sherman had when they did put him in man coverage against some of those top athletes. Think about the Odell Beckhams and Julio Jones. They could put pressure on him in the contact window, make him open up, and they can gain leverage. Is that an issue that we're going to have with Sauce in the NFL? That's the questions I have with him.
Man, okay, I guess I'll go next since I was, kind of one of the resident guys that kind of had a pushback on Sauce just going that high. I do think he's a high caliber player. I think he's a first-round guy, but I have some of the same issues that Damien have. And then I think it's interesting that nobody's bringing up the level of competition, meaning that they didn't play a whole lot of...
Oh, come on. Pickens...
The Bama
receivers,
Notre Dame.
I mean, it's different when you have to. It's different when you have to show up 1 week every 5-6 weeks, and when you have to do it week in and week out.
They had a month to prep to play Bama.
No, and what he had a month to prep to play Bama, right. Meaning that you get a whole month just to focus on this one school. And as far as schemes and everything that they draw up to protect their cornerbacks, that was kind of my issue. That I would like to see a higher level of competition because we mentioned Calvin Austin and we all agreed that Calvin Austin got into him. Calvin Austin is 5'5", 150 pounds. Like, what is he going to do when he gets a Julio Jones or he gets a Stephon Diggs, the Go Bills? Like, he may have trouble. It's going to be speed and athleticism that he may have never seen to that caliber in the NFL. I think it'll be an adjustment for him.
Keith's out here like he's from LSU, DBU, pumping up the SEC West, my guy, man.
Tell him with it. LSU, yeah. I think the Sauce is certainly a first-round corner. He's in my top 2. He's not my number 1. I think we all know who is. I do think within the right scheme, if you put him in a good place, I think the Sauce can have success. I mean, he's long, and can run. Clearly, he does not close as well as far as closing quickness at the top of the route, but I do think that there are coordinators who know that they can have great players and put them in a great role to have success, and so I kind of anticipate that for him. I also think the stat about him not giving up a touchdown the entire year is misleading, right? I mean, so people need to stop saying that. But I do think he's a good player, right? I do think he's a first-round corner. He has a ton of tools. He has length. But I don't think he can do any of the things that my number one corner can. So
the thing I appreciate the most about Sauce is really his intangibles, his confidence, his swagger that he plays with. And I think for a corner, when you're on an island, you gotta be different in the head, right? Because it's really one-on-one kind of matchup where if you have any level of self-doubt, you already lost the battle. And I think Sauce exuberates that confidence, that just overwhelming belief in his abilities, which really, to me, really helps his game when he's manned up one-on-one, because I think at the end of the day, he thinks he's the best player on the field. I mean, he said it multiple times this cycle, I'm the best player in this class. And I love that, hearing from corner, because again, you gotta have that kind of just confidence in order to really compete on an island.
When you say it's on an island, and they left them on an island too. I mean, you review the game tape and see how they were able to strategize playing defense with a guy like Sauce Gardner and the amount of space that they charged him with. And some of the opposing teams that they were lining up against were content to play 10 on 10, right? And just put him outside the numbers on the backside of the formation and work with everybody else. I don't want to deal with that. It's a nightmare. So some of that being the level of competition, sure, which I think is a fair point to give up or to bring up. But this was a player who had speed concerns and ran a 4.41. So I understand there's a difference between time speed and testing speed and functional speed.
Right.
But I think this is somebody, if you let him, 33.5-inch arms. Might be a little bit more scheme specific, but if you put him on the line of scrimmage and you let him press, I don't want him playing catch coverage. I don't want him playing off. Yeah, I think he can play those cover 3 systems that we've been talking about too, but I do agree that his transitional quickness at the top is not where his strength is. But if he's got good straight line speed and he's got 33.5-inch arms, let's just improve the efficiency in the contact window, not take those extra steps, and use that length and play press.
Also, to add to that, the over-aggressiveness in the contact window. Because when you consistently two-hand punch, you are locking your hip and you're losing leverage. All it takes is a quick swipe and a guy getting past you, and now you're not even just stacked. That's a touchdown. And the only other concern I have is if someone drafts him, say, top 10, you're drafting him as a shutdown number 1 corner, right?
And probably right away.
Right away. Did he move a lot besides playing the boundary corner spot at Cincy? Did he move into the slot? Did he handle those bunch set stuff? No, he was typically on the island as the boundary corner. So then that creates more concern for me going up against the A.J. Browns, the Cooper Kupps, these number 1 receivers that do not stay stationary like they do in college. So is he a guy that is predominantly on the outside, or can he give you that positional flexibility to not just move, but move with that number 1 receiver and wipe him out?
Yeah. We'll find out. I don't think he'll have to wait too long to get his name called at the end of the month. Sauce Gardner, quarterback, Cincinnati, our number 10 overall prospect.